Hello, my name is Caitlin. I just want to let everybody know thank you for supporting my channel and please subscribe if you haven't already. When we get to 50 subscribers, we can start the live streams, and that would be pretty fun. The reason why I started my channel is to raise awareness for cerebral palsy, because there are a lot of people out there that only look at one perspective of it. And the perspective that I've noticed is they only look at the perspective of you have cerebral palsy, so you're going to be bound to a wheelchair, or you're going to need a walker for the rest of your life, or you're going to need a special device that helps you to speak. And that's not the only perspective of cerebral palsy. The perspective that people don't tend to focus on is the perspective that I'm in. I have cerebral palsy, but despite that, I am able to do a lot of things. I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk, I'm able to take care of myself. Yes, I may need help with some things, but if I need help with some things, I will ask for it. And, you know, we are able to do things like I've said in a lot of videos. We just have to do them a different way, because cerebral palsy causes the signals in our brains to become crisscrossed. Like, the reason why I get the Botox is because it wakes up muscles that, due to the cerebral palsy, my brain doesn't recognize. But once the Botox is administered, my brain begins to recognize the muscles, and my brain looks at those muscles and is like, oh, wait, these muscles live here. But I'm just saying that the perspective of cerebral palsy that people don't tend to look at is the perspective that I am in. Despite having cerebral palsy, we can still do quite a lot of things. We just may have to do them a different way. And of course, God bless the people with cerebral palsy that are in wheelchairs and are going to need walkers for the rest of their life and might need devices to help them talk for the rest of their life. God bless all of them. But I just want to let you guys know that my YouTube channel is a safe space for people with cerebral palsy, or handicapped in general, can come together and just form a nice community and just get together. And I just wanted to shed light on raising awareness for cerebral palsy, because that is important, especially with today's generation. Awareness for cerebral palsy needs to be raised, because until a cure is found for cerebral palsy isn't going away. So we as a community need to raise awareness about cerebral palsy, so this generation will have an understanding about both perspectives. Because when it comes to cerebral palsy, there's more than one perspective. There are two perspectives, but the one they seem to focus on is the first perspective, which would be bound to a wheelchair or a walker or a cane. But that's not the only perspective that cerebral palsy has. Cerebral palsy has a second perspective, and the second perspective is the one that I am part of. I have a walker now because of my stability issues, because with me getting older, but I can walk. I can walk despite the stability issues, and I can see despite my cerebral palsy messing with my eyes and causing depth perception issues. And I can talk, and I can take care of myself, and like I can go shopping by myself. But people tend to focus on one perspective of cerebral palsy when there's more than that. And they need to understand as well that the handicapped community has a voice as well. And I hope that my YouTube channel helps bring awareness to the handicapped community having a voice. I was born with spastic cerebral palsy, and I was diagnosed with it at 3 months old, and I had eye surgery at the age of 2. They had to detach the retina and reattach the retina because one of my eyes went crisscrossed, and I also had a lazy eye. And then at the age of 9, I had hip osteotomies. They had to saw the femur in half, and they realigned it using a metal plate with screws. And the next surgery just involved getting the plate removed. But I don't regret those hip osteotomies. I don't regret those hip osteotomies at all, because they saved my ability to walk. Before the hip surgeries, I would be basically walking on my tiptoes all the time, and my hips would be going in and out of their sockets. And my doctor said that we did the hip surgeries at the perfect time, because my hips were getting to the point where they would have gone out of their sockets and stayed out of their sockets. And my doctor said that would have been very uncomfortable. So we did the hip surgeries at just the right time. The recovery process was frustrating, having to wear a body cast for 6 weeks. But you know what? Those surgeries saved my ability to walk. And that's what matters. So now I go in for a Botox procedure to wake up the muscles and get my muscles loose, so that way I can move a lot more comfortably, because I'm getting older. So the Botox is so I can move a lot more comfortably and easily, especially in the wintertime, because when the wintertime hits, when the wintertime hits, my muscles get so aggravated. Like, my muscles start to tighten, my muscles start to tighten, and it's difficult to move. And there are times where I could be sitting in the car, and even with the heat on, because of how cold it is outside because of the winter, like my adductors would hurt. I kid you not, my adductors would hurt. So, yeah. So wintertime is not easy with having cerebral palsy. But then again, it can vary. Some people with cerebral palsy, the weather that might affect them would be maybe when it rains, it'll affect them, or the cerebral palsy physically affects them when it's warm out, or like with me, when it's cold out, like when the winter hits. You just never know what the cerebral palsy is going to throw at you. But what matters is remembering that we have a voice, and together we can raise awareness for cerebral palsy. Thank you for listening.